Shalom, everybody. You're in for a very special interview today. I'm here at the Victory Heroism Tent, which is represents the organization of families who have lost loved ones, children, spouses, siblings in this war, fighting in the war, and they have events all the time, and they've been very strong voices in Israel and Israeli society and to the government to continue fighting to ensure that the deaths of their family members in fighting this war is not in vain, against all the pressure to end the war and on all the deals stopping the war. So today I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Eli Knoller. Eli just recently lost his son, Nadav Elchanan Knoller, in Gaza. And I'll let you hear his own story. I actually did a video just a number of weeks ago when I was visiting Eli at the morning house at the Beit HaShiv'ah, and mentioned Nadav and mentioned your grandparents, right? Your father and your grandfather. So I did that video over here. Such an inspiring story. Go watch that video. But in the meantime, Shalom, Eli.
Shalom, Avi.
It would be so much better if we'd be able to be talking about Nadav with him here together with us. Unfortunately, God chose a different path for him and for your family without us understanding why. But can you share with everybody some thoughts about Nadav?
Sure. Nadav was my middle child. We have 5 children. And he was 30 years old and married. He's been married for 4 years to Hadar. And they had one baby, a young son, 16 months old. And he fell exactly 29 days ago in Gaza, in the what's called the Netzarim corridor.
And just to give context, my son, Yakir, was in the same base. It was the Turkish hospital. Is that in that same base as Nadav? I'm sure they davened or learned together in that makeshift synagogue they made there.
Correct. Our dear allies, the dear allies of the Americans, as well, built a beautiful, very luxurious hospital in Gaza, which Hamas turned into headquarters for use for terror.
Right, there were tunnels found underneath the hospital. And
that was really built right on the site where the Jewish community of Netzarim used to be in Gush Katif, before Gush Katif was destroyed and its residents were expelled.
Right, 2005.
And here we are, 20 years later, dealing with terrorists in that area, which we haven't been in militarily for 20 years. Nadav was on his 3rd round of IDF reserve duty, starting with October 8th, when he came back from a trip to America. He came right back with his wife and kid and went straight up to his unit in the north at first, and then the south the last 2 times. And he was very happy to go every time. He never had any second thoughts about going. He was a manager in a very large company here in Israel, a responsible position. He had a wife and a child at home. Never did it cross his mind not to go the second time or the 3rd time and be out of the house for weeks on end.
You now have a unique voice. Again, you're here. We're sitting outside the tent, the Victory Heroism tent. What is your message now? And I'm sure it's not necessarily different from before Nadav was killed in this war. But what is your message now that you believe is important for people to hear about the Jewish people, Israel, the war we're in the middle of today, and all the craziness about the headline news and pressure for us to stop the war, etc.?
Look, I think that the war that was forced upon us on Simchat Torah by our enemies in a very brutal, sadistic way is not only our war, Avi. I feel it's the war not only of all Jews around the world, but also of all good Christians around the world. Anyone who loves freedom and anyone who loves democracy. We are fighting that war. We are the boots on the ground because the Muslims are not saying that they just want to destroy Tel Aviv. They are saying loud and clear that they want to take over Europe, which they're doing quite well at already, as anyone who has been in Europe this summer clearly sees and knows. And they say clearly that their next step are to come after the infidels in America. And they have made great strides in that as well. And fighting the Hezbollah in the north, the Hamas in the south, the Houthis in the east, in Yemen. These are all the same arms coming out of Iran who are spewing this ideology of the Muslims conquering the free world.
I'm going to come at you now from a different direction, because I'm sure there's some people, whether watching or not watching this video right now, or would be thinking to themselves, oh my God, this man who was born in New York City in this situation, lost a son at war in the Jewish state of Israel, maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe he should have just stayed in New York. What would your answer be to anyone who has that thought? And anyone who's not familiar, Eli moved here 35 years ago and raised his family here in Israel.
I've been in Israel 35 years, Avi, and through thick and thin, there hasn't been a day that I gave a second thought to my decision to come and to raise my family here in Israel. America is a great country. America took in my parents when they were running from Germany, from the Holocaust. They worked very, very hard to make themselves into who they were, to educate themselves, teach themselves English, go to high school, go to university, become professionals, and raise a good Jewish family. But I really feel that the same way that my grandfather's family was in Germany for 6 generations, and everything was great, and they were good, loyal citizens, and it suddenly came to an end under a democratic government,
right,
democratically elected.
right.
And I truly feel, without, thinking about doomsday and things like that, I truly feel that the time has come for the Jews around the world to understand that Israel has always been and is our only homeland, where we can rely on ourselves to not only protect ourselves, but to build a fully democratic country, and that's what we have today.
And what would you be saying? I mean, we were just here talking before with a family from Paramus, New Jersey, a Jewish family. What would you be saying to our Jewish brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, strangers who are still living in communities in the diaspora across America, Canada, Britain, France?
Look, whether you're a religious person or not, the mitzvah, the positive commandment of living in Israel is, for a Jew, is definitely the call of the hour. That is what needs to be done. Don't talk to me about parnasa. Don't talk to me about making a living. Today, with the internet, people can make a living from wherever they live in the world. Today, we have more cranes going up here in Israel than we have buildings.
That's right. I call it the national bird.
It's a national bird, the crane. The residential real estate, the commercial real estate, biotech, nanotech, fintech, stem cell research, you name it. It's happening here. The whole world is looking to Israel.
Right.
And there is absolutely no reason in the world today that Jews cannot come home, live a full Jewish life, enjoy the freedom of living as Jews in our own land, and making a good parnasa all the same.
Right. And what would your message be to, if you would be sitting in front of Prime Minister Netanyahu, what would you want? What would you want to tell him right now?
Look, I remember the days when I was a New York Jets fan back in New York. Anyone that's from New York knows well that the Jets have not been a winning team since 1968, since Joe Namath. But every Monday morning we would sit around and talk, oh, he should have punted, he should have passed, if he only punted and said, right? We were Monday morning quarterbacks, as we call it.
Right.
So now every citizen in the world, of the country, people around the world, everyone's a great military genius and is giving advice that Netanyahu should have done it this way, Netanyahu should have done it that way. I don't think anybody would want to have been the Prime Minister of Israel on October 7th, when all hell broke loose and the aftermath of October 7th. What I would tell Mr. Netanyahu now, and I would tell him this, would have told him this also before my son fell, just barely a month ago, is that the nation, the people are strong. The people want victory. The people demand victory. Because if we're just going to do a Band-Aid treatment,
Another round
will come in 2 years, in 3 years. If we're just going to run away from our problems and solve them, first, we ran away from Lebanon 25 years ago. Okay, Mr. Ehud Barak, great military genius, I put those in quotation marks, ran away in the middle of the night. He left our Christian allies in Lebanon high and dry, left them to the mercy of the Muslims in Lebanon. And he said, no problem, we'll defend Israel from the border. Ask anyone today from Kiryat Shmona, from Metula, from Beit Hillel, from any place up north, what's going on up north.
Yep.
20 years ago, we said the same thing with Gush Katif in the south. Oh, we'll just give them Gaza, we'll just give them Gaza back, we'll destroy all the Jewish communities till the ground,
Right.
including the synagogues. We'll build a big tall fence. They shoot missiles over the fence. They build tunnels under the fence. They go around the fence, and on October 7th, they just bulldoze the fence straight down. There's no other way to win this terrible enemy other than total victory. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. And if we do stop, I feel that the lives of all the civilians that were massacred at the Nova Festival, as well as all the soldiers who have fallen during this war, will be in vain.
Are you able to share with us something that you believe is important to remember about Nadav? That he'd like you or he would to be remembered by, that we don't necessarily know?
Nadav was a very friendly, outgoing guy. He would walk into a room of 50 people, and literally within 10 minutes, he would make connections with everybody and remember where he met someone's cousin, someone's neighbor, worked with somebody, was in the army with somebody, was in the university with somebody. In other words, he was able to connect people, but he was able to connect people also from all different kinds of backgrounds. He had a very special unique talent. He would walk on the streets on Shabbat and just say Shabbat Shalom to total strangers with a big smile, just to bring a smile to their face, and not just be a stranger passing on the sidewalk and not make eye contact, regardless of what type of person he was, if he was a religious person or not a religious person, if he was a right-wing person or a left-wing or didn't have any political leanings. And I think that's the type of person that we should strive to be, to, without any preconditions, literally to give friendship and help and love to people who, because they are people, and for who they are.
Eli, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your thoughts and thoughts about Nadav and general thoughts about Jewish people, Israel today. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu continue to, may God above continue to look upon you and your family and give you the strength to move forward with the pain that you carry with you, and hold on to those amazing, wonderful memories that Nadav has given you to hold on to for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Avi. Thank you. And let's say together, Am Yisrael Chai.
Am Yisrael Chai, folks. This is Eli. It's not just Eli Knoller. He represents the spirit of the Jewish people today. And again, this is the tent. And you see this tent. You see there are mattresses here. People sleep here. They have activities here all the time. This represents the spirit of the Jewish people today. And hold on to that spirit yourself. You're a Jew. You're not a Jew. As Eli was saying, and I tell you all the time, we are the front line of the whole freedom-loving world. Tap into that spirit of the Jewish people in Israel today. Support Israel. Support the Jewish people. And things are going to be good. Painful, bumpy, but we're on the right path, and it's the spirit. It's the ruach. We're going to come out of this. Hold on to us, support us, and Am Yisrael Chai. All right, everyone, if you're not yet a subscriber to Pulse of Israel, go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe to support our work and to ensure these videos get seen by many more people, because I can tell you all the time, we're highly censored all over social media on the internet. So if you want to help us to allow more people to see these videos and internalize these messages and feel the inspiration, even through the depressing headlines, just click on the donate button every once in a while on pulseofisrael.com. Signing off from our beautiful ancestral homelands in the middle of our beautiful ancestral, biblical, and indivisible capital, Jerusalem, since King David's time. Shalom, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.